That's right, man. You are still tuned in on your greatest FM show on Land Right here on Key Thing ESC Radio with myself, Baby Obutlesiu. But you know, I'm never alone. I am with Mr. Magaga, the King. Whoa. Okay, so this is part two to a conversation we were having just
A few minutes ago.
a few minutes ago, and we had to come back to this. We had to come back to this conversation
Yeah.
because it's quite a lot.
It
It's
is.
quite a lot. In case you don't know what we're talking about black tax. What
Mhm.
is that even? Indoni black tax,
What
guys.
is it?
You know what? What is that? Like, what is black tax? What are your thoughts on that? Black tax ukingandon.
Hmm.
And I know for a lot of us,
Mhm.
black tax, we think about the obligation
Mm.
to
To do
give back
what?
home.
Aha. I wanted to hear that
Wow.
part.
We think about the obligation to give back home,
Mm.
how much of a burden it is,
Mhm.
how much of a bad thing it is to
What I give
now
back home.
give back home.
Rebuild home.
Wow.
Because that's what it is, basically. It's you rebuilding the home, it's you expanding the home. That's what it is.
Okay. Wow. We're talking about black tax, and in case you're just joining us now again, we had this conversation on the previous broadcast, but it was too long, so we had to cut it short and come start this new one. And the conversation on there was just how we've adopted
Mm.
a lot of what is Western and we've made it to be ours,
Oh,
and how it's ruining how we exist as the
as Africans.
community of Africans and the community of black people,
Mhm.
right? And one of the things we mentioned there, or rather Asanda mentioned there, was how we've we've put a bad name to that which is African,
Mhm.
and we've made it seem as something that is negative,
Mm.
as something that is degradatory, something that is demonizing, or
Yes.
that is
Mhm.
demonic, so
Mm.
as to say there's nepotism where black people are concerned, but where white people are concerned, it's not nepotism, it's the value
Building the
chain,
value chain.
right?
Mm.
We see it as corruption when a black person refers another black person
Mm.
to to a business,
Yeah.
or when I take my brother who's got the right skills and who can
Mhm.
do the things, and I call it nepotism, or I'm like it's corruption. But when John says, hey John, come here my nigga, not my nigga, when John says, hey, come here my brother, I have a tender here to
Mm.
provide wine or biltong or whatsoever, we think, they're building an ecosystem, they're building a
Mm.
value chain, but it's a bad thing when we
When
do
we
it.
do it, it's a bad thing. And now it gets to the point where our sisters have to do favors for people in order to get jobs, but we are in positions to give them jobs. But now I can't give my sister a job because Makaka and she qualifies for it. So what does she have to do? Funeka aye to Minister Banban and do him a favor. And guess what? That Minister Banban is also black. You see how it is that as black people, when it comes to me as a black person putting another black person on, we find ways around it. We try and say, it's
There's
bad.
always controversy, there's always that
Mhm.
one thing, they probably don't deserve it, or they probably don't qualify. Speaking of which, I remember the class before us, 2017, we had a deputy head girl. I'm not gonna mention her name. I'm not gonna. I
Okay.
love her though. Deputy head girl. Our deputy head girl was white,
Mm.
right? Um, and we went to yes, it's a English medium school, but it was predominantly black,
Okay.
right? So there were white people here and there,
Mm.
just for the ambience,
Yeah.
but we went to a predominantly black school, so we knew of the everybody knew the white kids, like we knew about so and so,
Yeah.
because they're so few and
Makes sense.
distinct. This one time she was dropped off at school near by her boyfriend, right?
Okay.
In the morning, they kissed
Mm.
in the school property. She's wearing a uniform. They
Mm.
kissed. She got out of the car, bambulela, and then they kissed. Got in the car and he left. And I remember how I was one of the few students who went to report that because I was like, nigga, they were kissing eskolweni.
Eskolweni,
This
yes.
other, not even eskolweni. There's a black kid who was kissing their boyfriend outside the school's premises. Now we have a white person kissing their their white boyfriend inside the school premises, but no one said a
Nobody
thing.
did anything
It's in the
about it.
morning, everyone is here, and they did it in the afternoon outside of the school. But she was wearing uniform. She's wearing uniform, but she's inside the school
Inside the school
property.
property.
But we don't talk about it. And we asked why was that? Because uyaziwa kowabo. How do you know akaziwa lowana kowabo?
Exactly.
No, their fiance. Okay, they were about to get married because you know white kids they marry in high school. You know they were engaged.
It still doesn't mean
So
it's right though.
Is it right just
not.
because she did it?
It's,
And the conversation changed, and the conversation changed, and we just knew nah man, it's not it. But it was acceptable for the white kid to kiss inside the school property,
but it was not acceptable.
right? It goes to my next point that even in the day-to-day runnings of society, we've made a lot of things seem bad when the black child does it. When the white person does it, it's rightful that you kiss a boy and you're in high school. It's okay. But when the black person does, this and this and this and this, you can't have sex now. No, you know, even the conversations just that we have as black people, we don't talk to our families about sex, about kissing, in a constructive way. But the white people will do it, and it will be
normal.
You know, we will judge the black child for kissing. But you know,
but I mean, let's look at it this way. Do you think that's something that we should adopt as Africans? The whole thing of
that's where I'm going with it. You know that because I remember I reported at the time. My reporting was not informed. It was just out of spite, right? And then when I thought about it, and how the teacher tried to explain it, the teacher was basically saying, "Yes, mtanam, she did that. It's okay. They know it, Kowabo, but that's not who we are as a person. Let's let her kiss her boyfriends in public and all of that.
Because that's their thing.
That's their thing. You know, they're marrying at 18. That's their thing. As black people, that's not our thing. We respect the people around us. It's your peers, but you respect your peers.
There are things that you won't do.
You won't do, right?
Yes.
You can kiss, but you don't kiss in front of your peers. There are kids, for example, they were in grade 12, yes, but there are grade 8 children here. What are we teaching the grade 8s? And it works for white people because it's moderated by, you know, their families, and it's a structure, it's a system that they are aware of. But Tina's black, this is new to us. But are wrong. That's what the teacher was trying to say. And I remember how everyone was mad because it became a race conversation. It became an apartheid conversation, you know.
And that happens a lot where there are conversations that have nothing to do with any other race but ours. Of, well, they doing it, so why shouldn't we? Why is it that as black people, or as amaXhosa maybe, why can't we just stick to what's ours? Ours, and just improve what's ours. I think the problem is Sifuna. Very, very simple example to show you that this thing, it doesn't have anything to do with apartheid or anything like that. Or DJ Basa East London. I've heard a lot of them bethethe Zulu. I'm like, but what's going on? You understand? We look at our family members now who stay in Joburg. Who stays in Joburg for like a year or something. They come back and stay. take gent from Lesotho, bazokolusa inkomo apha. That gent will get here, akasazi isiXhosa, he will leave engasazi because he sticks to his guns. But Tina, what's this thing of let's just adopt everything? What's up with that? Why do
Also,
we
even
feel
if they do learn isiXhosa, when they go back
when they go
home,
back home,
it's home.
it's home.
You know, when we go back home, we are home, and we roll the way home rolls. But with us, I would.
I really don't understand it. I remember there was a time I was watching TV. I think it was a reality show. Kwabekwama Xhosa. I think it was one night with my ex or something like that. And ngamaXhosa boyi-two abantu, but they speak in English. Now, umntu could argue that nathi we hear samaXhosa siyi-two but sithethe English. But remember we're communicating with other people as well. There's a public platform. Our aim is to communicate with everyone who's listening. Now, if you go to a show, I mean, it's one night with my ex, you're here to communicate with your ex. Why bezawuthetha English beyi-two bengamaXhosa? What's this thing of Tina as black people, as soon as we're somewhere else, we just forget about what's ours? And we're saying, okay, look, sizawukhumsha Tina ngokusobabi. Why?
One of the reasons my mom loves your Ronaldos and your Messis is when they're doing interviews. You'll ask them a question in English. They won't respond to you in English. You know, when our soccer players, though, are being asked questions in English and they start responding in their vernacular language, they're made fun of. We joke about them not being able to speak English. We laugh about them not being able to speak English. But when it's Ronaldo who does it, no one says Ronaldo cannot speak English, and he cannot. And he prides himself in not speaking English because it's not his vernacular language.
It's not.
He speaks his vernacular language and he's good. But all of a sudden with us, you must speak English, and not only must you speak English, but you must speak it a certain way before it's acceptable and before it is legitimate as English.
So basically we are undermining each other as Africans, and we're undermining ourselves as well. It's a big problem. I remember there's I don't know his name, man. I'm trying to think. There was a movie, I think it was it Blood Diamonds or something like that, but it was a movie about Africans being taken to go look for diamonds and stuff like that.
I think it's Blood Diamond, one of everybody's favorite movies.
Yes, the gent who's the main character there. He's been overseas for years, but his accent doesn't change. I love him so much for that, and it works for him. He gets roles because of that. You understand? He gets. One thing we need to understand is be real, be you,
embrace that,
embrace being you. And if now you speak English in some kind of way, that's fine. We're not saying stop. Embrace it. That's you. But what we're saying is, me speaking English in a different way that you speak English
should not then make me think I'm better just because I speak it in a certain way.
You understand?
It should not necessarily be attached to my identity. Oh, that is something. And you know, you look at one of our most successful artists and who've been nominated for Grammys, African artists who've been nominated for Grammys, or artists who are authentic to what it is, you know, to be African. Us Java winning BET Awards, being the first.
You understand?
So why? Because
he's true to himself.
Black Mambazo being the one African group or artist category to have won the most Grammys. Why? Because they
true to themselves,
right?
That's just it. They true to we as Africans, we need to wake up. We really need to wake up as Africans, man. It's about time that we do that. It's about time that we respect ourselves and respect our culture. It's about time that we embrace our culture and we embrace who we are as a people. It's about time that we do that.
It really is, you know. And I want to go back to the black tax conversation. You said quite a lot of things that your mother raises you, you know, does everything in her power to make sure you get a good education,
Mm.
even if it means negating the other children to focus on you so that
On
you can
you.
get out of a dark time. But the
Exactly.
minute you make it now
Mm.
and you have a job and you can give back to your family, you start saying, "Hi, mama, it's black tax. You did what you were supposed to do. You brought me into this world."
And I-
It was it was your moral duty to do
Mm.
that because my mom.
Mm.
Because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go and buy that iPhone.
Mm.
iPhone 13, which is 22,000 rand, instead
I
of
understand.
building your home,
So
instead of
much you could have
helping
done.
you raise the
Mm.
other kids, because you focused so much on me that
Mhm.
the other kids did not get much.
Exactly.
Whew.
There's a
And
song.
then we call it black
We
tax.
call it black tax. There's a song, very famous song. I won't even say the name. As soon as I say what I'm going to say, you will know the song.
Everyone's gonna know.
It's no matter where you go, remember the road that will lead you home.
I know. We must mention it. I shout out to is it Prince K?
No,
It's
no,
not
no,
Prince
no, no, no.
KB.
Master KG.
Shout out to
and
Master KG.
Nomcebo, right?
Shout out to Master KG.
Yes, Master KG. No, Nomcebo. The song, no matter where you go, remember the road that will lead you home.
No matter, sorry, thank you. No matter where you go,
Oh, wow.
remember.
So that's what we're doing now.
So this whole thing of black tax, we're forgetting the road that will lead us home. That's the
So,
thing.
okay, to me, because you just joined, and for those who may have just joined, we're talking about black tax, right?
Yeah.
This guy raised a very interesting point here, saying that do you want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so he asked, "What is a black tax?
Yeah.
What is a black tax?"
So you're asking me.
I'm asking you,
according to-
what's
yeah.
black tax?
In my understanding, right? It's something that shouldn't exist.
Okay.
Okay.
Starting there, and then it's something where people consider that because now Ndipumelele ekhaya ndatekswa ngoku. I think it's that ideology of thinking that
Okay.
back at home the
I'm
people who
obligated
raised you.
to.
Yes, I'm
you-
obligated.
I'm obligated. That's what I
Yes.
said. So,
Okay.
black tax, we know it as the. Okay, let me not use English. Kangaka, then sizele, guys.
Please.
Look at you.
We know it as just the situation where now that I've started working and I've been educated and I have money, I need to then give my family
Mm.
a share
A
of
share.
that money.
Mhm.
And it feels like it is an obligation
Mhm.
that doesn't matter how I'm doing in life, as long as I'm working, I need to give back at home. So Tumamna, you're in university, ufumene imali kaNSFAS, imali yakho qeba uyisendlini.
Yeah.
I think like
That's how it's I want to believe it's made to seem, because you have a lot of people who say, "Hey man, I am struggling in Joburg, but my parents don't know that I'm struggling, and they expect me to buy my younger siblings in Bahla Christmas or to send money home." And that's what
I think
we know
if-
black tax
if
as.
it's seen, I think with black tax name from both ends, there must be some line of communication regarding
Yes.
finances, right? At home, umama kufuneka yazi, man,
Isithi,
tinjani
This is what's
esikolweni.
going on. Yeah.
Like this is what's going on at school. I am getting imali masithi, I'm getting 1.5 per month. With that 1.5, I'm doing A, B, and C,
Yes.
right? And namu ndayazi musimeko yasendlini. I've been there, I stayed there, you know. So I know what's going on there. So I know where I could help, right? So then it starts ngalando yoba wena ne uzazi amandla wakho.
Yes.
Ne? So it's not necessarily kama la 1.5 neka ngikhuphe 500 ndiyigodusa ne, but rather neka ndiyazi ba masithi ndincedisa ku homework. Yabo, like you mustn't always make everything about money. You know, because that's when Gengoku you're gonna feel like you're being taxed. Yabo. So when you start helping your homework, ne, and then you're also working on the side, you realize that now the more you go and deeper into this life after school, the less time you have. So now rather than helping the homework, now you're paying imali extra classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yabo.
Also, just the question of being taxed. How is helping out at home
Being
A tax.
being a tax?
Ikuwe lot.
How is helping out at home being a tax? Because you come, where you come from. My mom worked so hard to give me an education and probably negated my other siblings in trying to do so. And now that I've made it out in Amdanam, Tina sawusela amanzi sitye sonke apha endlini so that you get an education. Now that you've got your education and you have your money, you don't want to send anything at home because it's tax.
It's tax.
You know, I've heard people say, I'm not gonna do it. You know, I'm not gonna do it because why is this nyanzeleko?
And umuntu abe enayo.
Yeah.
You see, we'd understand if awunayo. No problem. Awunamali, you can find other means, you understand, to make sure that, okay, you're still helping out at home, right? Or like you said, that communication. Communicate that, okay, listen, mama, this is how much I have.
Yeah.
So I will try and do this and this. And you need to adjust your lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
That's something else we need to understand, that you can't have 1.5. You can't get 1.5 a month and you spend 1.5 a month. Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Cannot. You understand? You need to make sure that live according to your financial means. That's something that I think as Black people we're forgetting. Kakhulu. And if we can talk about you making it and giving back to family, and then we call that tax, what about your friends? What about your popping bottles lifestyle? Isn't that tax? Isn't that you taxing yourself now?
Exactly.
Yet I need to be at Conca every weekend. I need to prove a point on
At
social
20,000
media.
rand phone, bro.
You understand? Isn't that you taxing yourself as well? It goes back to what I was asking, that this whole concept of black tax, it is being labeled that it belongs to Black people because it's black tax. Do we have a Black name for it? We do not have a Black name for black tax. Not a direct translation, but even a definition. Define black tax in Gesclaus.
And now when you directly translate that,
mhm.
it's back to helping at home. Then how is
Given
helping
back as a-
tax?
Exactly.
Because to be quite honest, I am like, when the country taxes me, as
Yeah,
much
no.
as I don't
That
feel
is-
like I'm helping. You know, as much as maybe we came out Tata get in the lomal by Tata 250 when I buy something at a shop, but it really isn't the same.
It's not.
And it can't be put in the same category.
And
Like,
you can't even you can't even see what it's doing, you know. You said something here earlier on, Ubana. You find that with okay, so there were complaints, right? Why people hate black tech so much because my mom wants me to build a home like ikaya lam before I build myself a house. Like, why am I building, you know, a house for my parents when I haven't built a house for myself? You know, why am I taking my sister to school when my mom affords to do that and I'm not even, you know, buying the clothes that I want. I'm not even buying the, you know, the phone that I
Phones and
want or the
everything,
cars
yes.
that I want. And you find that, bro, you're just a jerk, man. I'm sorry to say that, but you're just a jerk.
being a jerk.
It really doesn't make sense. Think about it from all angles. It does not make sense. Like, what kind of person are you who enjoys themselves while your family is struggling?
my
Like-
question to that, Yazi, one, ukuncedisa do you know how I see it? I see it as my own preparation for when I have my own things.
Thank you.
Ever, because instead of now spending money with my girlfriend, saying that me and my girlfriend we're building a future, wara ne, man can qale pha endlini bone na if na umntana na ngiyakwazi na ukumsustaina endlini.
Ulwane.
Ne? And also, how am I going to now get myself a nice fancy house
Wait.
on the hills of Grahamstown, right? While ekhaya selokishini, because ngokugela lona ndidibene naye ne uzodibana nam ndipha kwi-fancy houses and then ngokwase
You have
esiza
to take her back home.
I have to take her back home. It won't make sense. Yeah, but it will not make sense to anyone. And also,
And also
I will have
whatever
influence.
happens with me and my fancy car, my apartment, I always have a home to go back to.
Exactly.
You know, I always have a home to go back to.
It's like sorry. It's like me saying, okay, I'm driving my 7 Series BMW with my iPhone, and then go December ndiyemgidini ekhaya afike. It's only one house. You understand?
You're
One
making 7
room,
series
one
punk
room.
with
7
any.
Series
One
Bangalandri
room.
wa- You understand? Because
They won't see what I pull up in. I mean, they won't
they
know.
will not.
And it looks very disturbing.
It does.
I've seen it before where I've seen a fancy car parked in front of a road. It looks disturbing because you have so many questions about what is happening.
Priority.
You know, and even if that car that I saw
No.
may not even belong to that house, let's just say the fact that there was such a car in front of such a house,
Exactly.
like that is
No,
scary.
it's an honorable memory to remind me of where I come from. You know,
And also,
preserving.
I always have a home to go back to. wouldn't it be so nice when everything is said and done, you know that you had a major contribution to that home that you're going back to? It's like a prodigal son type of story, because now imagine you have gone out into the world and you said nothing back home, and and you've lost everything in the world.
It also goes back to what you said, man, Asanda. Ubana wena, what kind of person are you? Like ungumntu onjani wena ovuyayo kowenu
You
kuthiwa
understand?
isonga, while you
When
are
you
having
popping bottles,
career.
you understand? That's the problem. And I need to. There's this other thing.
Yeah, no, hey, this guy, look at this guy, man. Hey,
You know, when it comes to
Modern
dating,
Claire.
right?
Yeah.
Look at you. Yeah, when it comes to dating, and you see gents, right? A gent, he's working somewhere. Maybe he's been working for 2 years, stays at home with family, doesn't have his own place. And you get that he's dating somebody. And well, even if it's not dating, but what I want to ask is, why is it that as a man, if you stay at home at a certain age, you're seen as less of a man?
Mm.
Or let's look at working at McDonald's drive-through as men. He's lazy. But take a lady of the same age, same race, everything. She's a strong black woman. Why is it that way?
Why is it that way, really?
Hey.
There's a comment on.
Oh, yeah, no. Hey, you're back. You're back. I told you
He's
knew from
on.
here. A comment from Sunny So Si Chinga. Did I say that right? To build a house at home, it's blessings and appreciation to your parents. You know how they raised you. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Definitely.
Yeah, no.
Definitely. So, like what I said, that why, as a black man and a black woman, same position, but Kuchiwa, that strong black woman, lazy man. Why is it like that? And this is connected to what I've been saying, that as black people, we're fighting each other without even knowing that we're fighting each other. But we are. Why does that happen so much?
Hey, man, that's a question. Yeah. Hey,
It is a deep question, because I think I understand this. Galando Yogbanyani, as a black man, the pressure to really make it is intense.
It is.
Right? Because you don't make it, then it's chai. For example,
and
who's this
also,
comedian?
isn't making it subjective?
Yeah, making
Because
it is.
as a man, what I want to do is provide for my family. And if it means going to work at a McDonald's drive-through and I can make sure that umntana museskolweni, then I've made it. You know, why must I pop bottles in order to make it? Why must I be at Konga to have made
Why
it?
must I have Twitter standards in order to make it? Jonah, there's this comedian. Everyone hates Chris. Chris, what's his name?
Yeah, him. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, him.
He says this thing. He says, dogs and women are the only things that are loved unconditionally.
Yeah, I've
Yo,
heard that. I've heard
Dogs and women are the only things that are loved unconditionally. As a man, in most cases, I love to say in most cases, because I don't want to cover this with one blanket. Yabona, you need to bring something. Yabo, like there needs to be some form of status that you have, right? So it's very, very odd that as a man, you need to have something in order to be seen as Umdu who has made it. And I feel like we need to get to a point where we're breaking down those things.
Yes.
We're breaking down those things where we say that, okay, fine, ungasebenza kwa McDonald's as a guy, and it's okay because asikwazi.
Thank you. You see, that's another thing. We have this thing of Tina, we want to sort of show people that I've got this, or to show people that I have money or whatever. But those people, they don't know where you come from. They don't know where you come
They
from.
don't.
They really don't.
They don't.
But Tina, we have this thing of trying to prove a point, and unfortunately, it's black people trying to prove a point to other black people.
And also, it's self-check, man. I like what you said in the first broadcast, that it's self-check. It starts with you. You can never really go on about this conversation without checking yourself first. When you are operating and saying, "Hey, man, I'm being taxed at home," what does that
What
mean?
does that mean?
You know, does it mean that at home they're being unreasonable and they want me to suffer so that they can, live a good life? Or are they just asking out for help? You know, check yourself. how you go on about your life. It's a teen. Like at this point, when you say that, what do you mean? You know, when you feel the need to impress society, or you feel the need to impress the world by getting a job, or you find yourself robbing banks now. You find yourself stealing cars. You'll find yourself doing all sorts of criminal activities just so you can meet the standards of society. When you're meeting those standards, why do you feel the need to meet those standards? And how does it leave you, right? And if there's one thing I like about white people is that they don't care. We have this thing. I think also it's tied to caring about what people think.
Thank you.
You know, they don't care much about what people think, and they've been taught from a very young age not to care. But we're so invested.
But for Tina, hey, look, man, abantu bazothini.
We're so invested.
It's a problem. And Unyansile, look, my head goes off to white people when it comes to this. When we look at finances,
Your head goes off.
those people and finances, I respect them so much. I really do.
Yes.
I have something to add to this conversation, and I am really catching it in the air right now. But I also want to note something on that in the education part of it. A lot of our white counterparts leave eskolweni bangene kumsebenzi katata.
You know.
Yabo.
And then when we do it, it's nepotism.
We spoke about that.
When we do it, it's nepotism.
Yeah.
Right. And also another thing.
It's corruption.
Another thing that I feel like as Black people is done kakulu because of our tattered history of where we come from. One thing I've noticed is that we're trying to feed ourselves as quickly as possible.
Sorry, you're in tertiary, hey? Yeah,
Yeah.
it shows.
No,
Okay.
man, please.
Okay, hi,
Please. This
hello.
essay is this essay. We're trying to quickly make it. Like politicians are doing this.
Yep.
Business people are doing this. Quickly feed yourself. Senior. And so that
Creatives are doing this.
Creators are doing this. In the creative space, we see this. And I feel like this is what is bruising us the most. Because now, when we're trying to quickly make it, we're not giving back. We're also trying to glitter it up.
Yeah.
You know, I want to show people that I've made it. You
Glamorize
know,
it a lot.
I want to glamorize it. There's no simplicity in the way we do things. And I feel that in the lack of simplicity, Gengoku, this is when we are bruising our generations to come.
True.
Because Ngogun, the next generation that is going to be politicians is going to be like, yo, we fought so hard to get here. Let me just quickly get for myself as well.
Yeah.
Let me get myself that car quick. Let me get myself this quick. And then after that,
We're not building
it's a cycle.
anything.
Whereas white people, they just like, okay, cool, man. I'm going to wear my BB
Dude,
shorts and
my
whatnot.
deputy, 2017 deputy head girl, there was a white person. Bro, she wasn't even thinking about going to university. She was like, man, I'm good. I got my matric. After this, I am working. I have a job. What do you mean you have a job? She had a job that was waiting for you.
Waiting for her.
What do you mean
But the
waiting for
problem
you?
when it comes to us,
Yeah.
Tina, we don't do that.
So
We don't create
bring up the
legacies.
conversation of dropping out in a room
No.
full of Black people. Then they look at you different. Bring up the conversation of taking a year and saying that, no,
gap
nah, man,
year.
I'm going to take a year. Hayi bunjani kaloku? Uzokwenza ntoni? For
Tattered
sure.
history also.
Yeah, but-
it goes
and-
back to that.
We need to understand that, I mean, we're different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, and we all have our plans. We should always think about laa mntu uyayazi into ayenzayo. When they're deciding to drop, uyayazi into ayenzayo. And they have a plan, and we don't support each other. It's that thing when you're saying we're fighting within.
Yeah.
Because if I'm bringing up that conversation of saying that I prefer not to go to university, you're going to fight me. You're going to fight me. If I bring up the conversation where I prefer to be an artist, I'm going to be like, they're going to fight me for saying that I want to be an artist and not an engineer or whatever.
Makes
And
sense.
more support is needed in the Black
Yeah.
community.
It is.
Also, it's really hard to support what you don't know. I get where they're coming from because they do not know how it is to take a gap year. What they know is in order for you to be successful, you need to go to school.
Yeah.
In order for you to make it, you need to, get that education. You need to, go on about it a certain way. I don't know what it is. Taking a gap year, what is that? Being a
dropout.
creative,
Being a varsity-
podcast. To mamas, what is
What a
it?
podcast.
A podcast.
Nyaka wangwenzani?
I took you to
Here's the
school
thing.
and you're doing a podcast.
Here's the thing. Ne? When it comes to black families, we've been suffering so long that we focus more on what are you bringing in instead of what are you building. Because if you're here with your podcast or anything like that for a whole year and it hasn't been paying for that whole year, but you know that you're building a track record, you know what you're building. But the problem is at home, they're hungry. So at home,
They're hungry now.
They're hungry now.
They
You
need to
understand?
eat.
They need to eat now. They don't care about your track record. They don't care about you building your bio and
The
you
numbers.
building
They don't
Building
care
and
about
they
the
don't care
numbers.
about that.
you understand? They need to eat right now. So I don't want us to be too quick to say, hey, parents, let us do what we want to
Exactly.
do. We need to understand as well that they're hungry.
Mm.
They've been suffering for years.
Yeah.
They
And they
need
worked
some-
hard
they
for
worked
you.
hard for you to
They
get there.
sacrificed
You
a lot
understand?
for you.
This is when
But anyways, they were supposed to be. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
but-
my parents. That's the mentality we have.
Mm.
Most of teen, most
Like,
most-
what are you gonna do? You had to work hard for me. Otherwise, then it would be a reflection on your parenting.
Weird,
But like, I think
weird.
this is when we want to balance things out and not say, Bazali, let us do what we want to do. Saying that, okay, you're creative, Netumamna. Now do the paperwork as well.
Yes.
Learn the business side. Take that course. Actually sit on YouTube just studying how to draft a business plan and how to propose it.
I'll give you an example. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example with me, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker.
Yeah,
She
no,
knows
yeah,
me
no.
in business.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
that guy. He's
And-
that guy, basically.
And I'm
Almost
also
said Google.
doing, but yeah, Google me. So I'm
Yes.
also doing LLB, right?
Yeah.
So at home, they didn't understand the whole thing of business. My brother graduated LLB. His late twin graduated. He was a nurse. My sister graduated. She works, right? So I'm the
Family
only
of
one left.
academics.
Hey, they
You need
there.
to go to school.
You
Academia.
understand?
I know.
So
Scholars.
I came back and I was like, okay, I want to do business.
Yeah.
But remember, at the time, business was not making money.
Yeah.
But I could see the progress. I could see the vision, right? So I had a choice now to say, okay, you know what? Fine, I'll stop business and I'll just focus on school. Or I'll stop school and I don't care what they're saying. I want to focus on business.
Yeah.
I think that's the mentality that we have. Gandhi, this is what I did, and this is something that I think we should all do. Continued with school. I'm doing my final year next year, LLB, but I continued with business. And the reason why I did that, I wanted to show them that this can work. But in order for them to see that this can work, they also need to see progress on the other side as well. You understand? So we shouldn't be too quick to be rebellious and say, hey, look, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'll do this. You understand? Because it's coming from a good place.
Yeah. Place of concern.
You understand?
You know,
Now, I graduated business this year. I graduated business school. And now that's when my family were like, oh, okay, no, man, we see this thing in business. And before that, I've been speaking in shows. I mean, I've been speaking with people that I used to look up to, and now we're speaking together. But because I
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
getting paid for
What
that,
he's
at
trying
that
to tell
time-
you, we're speaking
Like-
together now.
This is
got
why I
it,
love
got
you.
it.
So it
Got it.
didn't really matter to them. But okay, you're on Daily Dispatch now. You're on this. You're on the news sharp. It didn't matter because bekungekho certificate.
In the bayaziyo bona,
Yeah.
it's
That's what
that
they know.
paper. It's, you know.
So now when I got home with that paper, it was 2 a.m. When I got to East London. No, 4. It was 4 a.m. when I got back from the graduation, and I could see how happy my mom was. I could see how proud she is of me.
And you're also in business as
You
well. You
understand?
didn't have to give up on your dream.
Exactly. So it's possible to take the safe route that your family is giving you because they telling you to do that.
Okay, you guys are
'cause they
talking to
mean a
me
lot.
now. Hey?
Okay, I get you. Big brother things.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
We were having a similar conversation, yesterday. Ubana, you don't have to just go out and do everything you
front
have
of
to
people.
Exactly. You can just do it
In
in
silence.
bits,
Do it in
in
bits.
bits, in bits.
And that's the reason why I have a problem with a lot of speakers, especially who speakers who are in business. They will just tell you that, hey, screw everything, follow your dreams. Listen, man, you don't live alone, right?
You don't live alone.
That whole thing of having a backup plan, I support that. I get people saying, hi, having a backup plan is set up for failure. Listen, we've been suffering for years, man. As black people, we were never sure of anything. we got into things. I'm hoping this is going to work out, but because there's so much against me, it might not work out. So let me have a backup plan.
It's good to have backup.
Very good to have a backup
Support.
plan.
Support.
I think for me, I'm also in a position right now where there's a lot of deciding on how next year looks like. You know, considering the fact that I'm in university at the worst time to be in university, right?
don't say
You know,
that, so.
with COVID and everything's just so
Yeah.
different, not normal, right? And my parents are in support of a decision that I proposed, right? Of saying, listen, I want to now do my own thing, you know, and also considering what I've been doing here, I see that I can continue doing my own thing because at the
Why
end
is
of this, I'm still going to come back and do my own thing.
Exactly.
You know, I don't see myself doing indoor energy. And I think we need to really, you know, look at the situation where you're in. Ohlali wethu, ne, like you said. And if your parents are adamant on, listen, please, for us, can you just get it? Go get it. Because we experience the same thing in the drama department as actors. You know, we create plays that resonate with Black people, you know, with our Black stories. And our lecturers who are white say, no, we want this. We don't want that. Why in the cancer stage? Why in the city?
Yeah.
No, we don't know this. And sometimes we just have to just do what they want us to do and just get it over and done with. Kumako a rubric
Speak like
sidlule.
first, ne? You guys are the first in your family. First,
Yeah.
business, the first of. And it goes back to something you said, you know, about how we've glamorized a lot of things. You know, being a first man is not as glamorous as people make it
Not at all.
seem
Not
to
at
be. You know, you're the first person to do this. No, it's nice. It's nice when you've achieved it, but the journey to being there is not nice because you're the first to navigate this road, and no one has been there before. So there's no support. There's no
reference point.
understanding. Exactly. There's no one to look to and say, hey, please guide me, man. There's no reference point. But you have a John, for example. Hey, John's father has been in business, bro. They've all been in this wine business since 1960 something. So
Jonga,
you know you're
good
being
Johnson
told
and
this-
Sons.
good Johnson and Sons. Johnson and Sons. But you're the first, so you do not know where to look to. You don't know who to talk to, you know, and no one understands you because we've never taken a gap year.
Exactly.
We've never even went to school, and you're telling us about a gap year. What? What? You know?
You're the first to have the opportunity to go. Like, for example, in my immediate family, I'm the first to have the opportunity to get, you know, that degree. And when I say I kind of don't want
can't.
it. Like, I kind of don't want
It's
it.
very taboo.
It's like, njani ungayifuni? You know, and I'm
When you
like,
can.
the opportunity is
when you
there.
can.
You buyile mos.
Like, so you might as well just get it. And you know, you the whole thing of you getting a degree, right? You'll be there, the alumni. Even now, when it comes to the younger generation having to go to school, at least you have a say and you can be able to assist and talk to all the relevant people. So sometimes the things that we do, we're not only doing it for ourselves, right? We're trying to make sure that uli connection way. Because we live in a world where everybody needs a connection to get somewhere.
Becon, Bachelor of Connections.
You understand?
What do you mean? That's corruption, bruh. That's nepotism. You know?
No, but like that's the thing though. You need to,
Nepotism. That's nepotism.
for
What do
example,
you
right
mean?
now, like you need to know someone in radio for you to get into radio.
Yep.
They hit you up on the side on Facebook, be like,
Yep.
yo,
Bro.
man, I've been seeing that you're doing and they rate you. Can't fuck you, man. Yeah, bro. And then I now am closer. It's that thing. Connections about who you know.
Connections, net worth.
You know,
I think
value
calling it
chain.
connections is probably a value chain.
They'll say it's a you know how white people use that? Like, hey
value
man,
chain.
dinner tender, bro. John, I've got this tender, my brother. Please come through. Yeah, but I'll be providing the meat. You'll bring the wines, you know, and they'll say, man, we're building the value chain. But when you do it, asana magak,
And
corruption,
then what we end up
nepotism.
doing, like, Tina, is uba kuthiwa kufuna inyama and kufuna wine, I'll find ways bana la mali wine mayize kum so I can give them. Why? I know umeza une company wine, but I'll say, you know, mayize kum. We need to cut that out as a people.
Yeah, bro.
We need to realize that as Black people, we need to build each other, and it starts with us, the youth. It's a bit too late for our parents to do it. seating people who are in favorable positions to do this, right? But the problem is we're chasing being the first black to do it or being the youngest black to do it. So now when there's an opportunity for two blacks, you want to take it and be the only black. It's a problem.
This guy's a businessman. You can hear it in the way.
I'm just like, I need to digest
It's
that.
a huge problem.
Because Nyani, we are in that fight of first or youngest, first or youngest, first or youngest, or
only black to do something. Why? That's why I love I forget their names, Theo and the drip guy.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Yes, that's why I love them so much. One of them could have been the only black to do it. Aben Islam. They didn't close the market; they opened it. Those I see them having meetings together or lunch together. I'm like, I love this. This whole thing, spirit of
Asana Makaka
competition.
is such a business guy.
Like-
Sorry, guys. But like,
Which is in awe.
But that's why I love them so much. You understand? They didn't close the market so that I am the only black Yoruba Islam. There's a guy who does the same thing that Butler Zaras is doing in Islam and is doing it in Cape Town. I coached him, right? He came to me, was like, "Yeah, Tiam, I see what you're doing. I'd love to do it." I'm like, "Okay, sure, Tiam, no problem. This is what you can do. Go there, go there, go there." His company is doing amazing. And I'm so happy to know that another black person is thriving in the same field that I'm thriving in, and nobody's competing with anybody.
There's no
You understand?
beef.
There's no beef.
Yeah, but that's
what we're
another
supposed to
thing.
do.
I can only teach you as much. You can't go before me now. You know, you can't be the best. You can't be
Like,
better than
for
me.
example, even look at the Amapiano industry
Mm.
and how much they've just literally opened it up. And I feel like the
And
reason
there's
why
still
it is
room
so
for
big
more.
is because they literally just said,
They
"Hey,
open it
anyone,
up.
come,
You
come,
understand?
come."
And then now it comes back to the fans. The fans try to destroy that. I've seen people always posting Daliwonga or Sir Trill. And I'm like, why is there an or? Why can't you say Daliwonga and Sir
That's all.
Trill?
The only time we can say "oh" is in sport, when we can put, we can make them compete in sport
Yeah.
because they compete
They
kakati.
barely, that's the
You know,
nature of the sport. It's
But now,
competition.
when it comes to music, that's subjective.
You understand?
Like I hear music different than the next person. And now if I'm going to be bringing you that, Ujaliwonga released this and that
Also,
and
there's
that.
room. There's room for everybody. That's another thing.
There is.
There's room for everybody. So there's no need for us to be competing. You know, in hip hop, we know about there must be two giants, and it's just that.
Obuhle.
And look at it, it's not thriving.
On there's room for everyone. There's literally a YouTube channel that content yayo is planes flying and planes landing. Do not think that there's no room for you because that's all they post on their YouTube channel. It's planes taking off and planes landing.
Are you kidding?
I'm serious.
Are you-
Like
it's
I'm.
an actual YouTube.
It's an actual
I thought that was an
YouTube.
example.
No, it's planes flying and planes landing,
And it's
and it has
thriving.
over
It's
100k
thriving.
subscribers,
My man.
and views are crazy. And that's what people want to see. So don't think that Lindu Yenzai, okay, the next thing that person is bringing is gonna be, "Oh no, man, why are you doing this? Like, why that?"
How do we unlearn? How do we unlearn? Because we are aware of the problems at hand, but how do we unlearn them?
Have more conversations.
Mm.
Have more conversations.
Yeah.
Like Mangapeli Apa, take it to more people. Wherever you are, have the conversation. Our problem is that we'd like to talk about I love football, but I can't be talking about football all the time. Let's not say now December, and all we're talking about is that the Chiefs beat Pirates or Sundowns beat Pirates 4-0, which was great though. But like,
What do you mean? Hello, hi,
Look,
hello,
but
hello.
you see, my thing is that in
Hate you for
Mhlanga,
that.
bring that conversation up. On hayi man, nenza njani ngoku? Nazi inkomo. What are you thinking about inkomo ezingaka tata? Iigusha zinizigcisa uhlandi ucinga ntoni ngazo? Okanye is that it? Link people up to other people. We are on Twitter, and Twitter has every type of business owner on there. Say, DM, shoot your shots, guys, and talk to people. Have these conversations every single place that you go, because then that is when you start to reach out to about, because what we're doing right now, we're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we know what we're saying. We're in agreement
Yeah.
every time. we're in agreement.
Yeah.
This information is bouncing from the
And
next
it's so
person.
comfortable. Like,
Eh,
oh my God, yeah.
Let me add
Yeah,
to
let
that.
me add to that.
Like you said,
Ooh,
Hassan,
yes,
like you said,
this
you
is
see,
it.
you know, we want someone in this room who's gonna say, wait, I don't understand. What do you mean? You know, and then we come and bring it deeper, and then I still don't get it. It won't work, and then explain, because that way can go lower.
Exactly. That's why I have so much respect for Buhlan. I have so much respect for that guy because of what he's doing with Kasi Conversations.
Oh.
That's
Bohlali.
why.
Oh, yeah. Like, hey. Shout out to Bohlali Muzani.
Yeah, that's why I respect him so much, man. Because also there's Usiamtanda Shlobo. I always speak about her.
Yeah.
She's doing the same thing with events all over the place. You understand? And I've met so many business partners through her events. So it's people like that who actually take what we're talking about here and they actually apply it, and they're doing well. They're doing well.
And you know what, with having these conversations, I know that at times they get tiring because you talk about the same things. I think we were talking about gender-based violence just last week, and I was just sharing how tired I am that we were having these conversations again. We've been talking about this, you know, since 2017. I was talking to a friend last night, like, hey bro, why are we still having this conversation, right? And it's still important to have these conversations, even though, you know, the problems are still at hand. We won't stop talking about these things because they're still happening. You know, this is for someone who's discouraged right now and wondering, hey bro, but we've been having these conversations.
like-
We've been talking about unlearning. We've been asking people to unlearn. When will you know,
When will people actually unlearn?
well, you know, when will we stop needing to have these conversations? And I want to say, until something happens, let's not get tired of having these conversations. And when we have these conversations, I'm able to, you know, share something to the next person, and when I'm tired, they can continue the
continue with
good
it.
gospel, you know.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. And I think these are very important. Platforms like this are very important. You understand? We might not know the kind of impact that we have or the kind of impact that we make, but I've had people text me and say, "Hey, listen, I listened to your show, and what you guys say, it hits home." You understand? And I'm them like, I didn't think this was happening. So we shouldn't get tired, Nati. And we should actually try and get more platforms like this. You know, get creatives together, get them to drive a message, make a difference. And it's really just up to us to make a difference. And it starts with you. I'm not sure which company uses that slogan, but it starts with you.
And it always starts with you because I don't know it's like pray. Oh God, people are hungry in the streets. God, please feed them. Like, yeah, you need to help them. And then it starts with you. You are the answer to that prayer.
True. Makes a lot of sense. And I really, man, I just think as young people, number one, and young and black, because I think that's another thing that we need to focus on. The whole thing of, yes, I'm young, okay, sharp. Yes, I'm black, okay, cool. Now make a difference. We find a lot of young black people in positions of influence, and we do not use those positions of influence. We, you know, let's look at influencers.
Yeah.
Can we just have an honest conversation about influence? What are they influencing?
A generation.
Okay, but how?
Through now, yeah. You see, this is what I feel about influence. I haven't really thought about that question, but I feel like that could be literally a market that is going to be huge because it's a market that's already followed at such high volumes. Influence because what are you influencing me to do? To buy a roll-on?
Exactly.
Are you influencing me to buy shoes? You know, are you and these are things that we're going to do anyway. But now let's change it. Now let's make you an influencer of a mindset. Let's make you an influencer of a vision. You know, let's influence a generation on a vision. That is where that whole market of influencers changes and it becomes beneficial.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now really ultimately, in a nutshell, you're not really an influencer, you're an advertiser.
Thank you.
Like, to be quite honest,
That's just what it is.
like, you an advertiser, if you're getting a whole chunk of makeup, a whole chunk of roll-ons, a whole chunk of whatever it is that they're giving you, you're not really an influencer. You are just advertising.
Exactly.
You know?
Because I don't understand what they influenced. I'm an influencer. Okay, cool. What have you influenced in the world that has changed the world? Absolutely nothing.
And now also, the lifestyle of an influencer is one that may be very misleading. You're racking up numbers on YouTube, and let's say yes, you are really living that life, right? We watch your vlogs, we love them. You going all over the country doing amazing things, and now umuntu waseMonti, Kunupi, I'm just normal simpleton. Think like, nah, I'm gonna be like that guy. I'm gonna be like that guy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go by and I'm gonna trip Nike from head to toe. Or I'm gonna do this and wear like that. I'm gonna live this lifestyle. And now it's a matter of I'm not in that place, not in that position. Because at most times we don't know the backstory of India's needs. So how can we change that? Like, how can we change that ideology of now, okay, fine, influencers now, but now be influencer of good things. Educate us.
I think it starts with what we want to consume as well as the viewers. Here's the thing. I've seen people post about them popping bottles on social media. I see them post what they eat, where they go, who they hang out with, what they wear, right? So what that means is those people who are posting about that or who are putting out content like that, they understand that whoever wants to consume their content is looking for that entertainment lifestyle. See, now that's the problem. All we want to consume is entertainment and not education. If influencers would go back and say, okay, instead of posting that I have money, can I post how I get money?
Exactly.
You understand? I think that's something that we need to do. But again, now we need to understand that influencers also need to make money. So the content that they put out content that they know is going to be consumed by people.
Influencers are not different from rappers.
They're not.
They're not different from rappers because a rapper is going to rap about like cars, money, the girls that they're with, the alcohol that they buy, the places that they go to. And in most cases, those are things that they haven't really happened. But it's us, who wants to hear
that.
And we buy the music, and that person now can actually do that.
Exactly.
Because we bought the music. An influencer now is also going to go on Instagram and they're going to save up. They're going to work and go to those expensive Airbnbs, spend that money, buy those bottles, and then we go there, we watch and be like, wow.
So for them, it's an investment.
I could not stand watching a vlog for the life of me. I can't watch a full vlog because why am I watching you enjoying your life?
Thank you. That's what I don't understand. Why would you want to watch somebody enjoy? Why would you want to watch somebody live your own dream?
Like, I want to go to places. I want to do things. I want to be very, very I want to live in the world. And we know that this is all subjective, but I won't lie, I want to do those things. Like, I want to go to places in Cape Town, them close down the whole place because of me, But now I'm not going to be sitting for 30 minutes watching someone else do that. Because now I want Abantu to now, look, what I want for myself is that let me spend that 30 minutes thinking about how I can
get it. Exactly.
So
it starts there that Nathi, as people, we need to be hungry for the kind of information that would lead us to knowing how to get money, not content as out there. I have money, look at me. Okay, but how did you get it? So I think we need to work together here, right? We need to support creators who are creating content that's showing you how to get money. We need to be watching that.
We need to be watching that. Like, I feel like if you are watching on YouTube and you're watching people who are vlogging their trips and journeys and whatnot, and when as a person who would like to do the same as that person, watch how they do that thing. But for example, there's a YouTuber that I like here in South Africa, and I'm not really big on YouTube, and it's very big that I even started consuming his content because now he has this show. And in this show, I'm watching how they go about it, you know, how they go about the general production of the show. If he's vlogging, I want to see what he does in his vlogs. Okay, so he opens up the show, and then he just moves around with the camera. Fine. So if I were to be creating a vlog, this is the part where I would just move around with the camera. Okay, fine. When do I find a chance to speak? There, because that is how he's good. But these YouTubers, we can't deny the fact that they're good.
They're really good.
So we must learn their strategies. Yeah, but learn the strategies of how to create. Because that's that person's life.
Yeah.
And also, you don't know where they come from. A lot of people right now come from money already. Yeah, but and there's no problem in the person that's coming from money because I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, but the parents work, so why are you?
They were working for their children, so it makes a lot of sense.
And now money follows money, to be quite honest. True. So now why are we bugged with the fact that oh no, this person they come from money? No, it's okay. But what do you look at? You look at that thing in that person where you're like, okay, this right here, and the way they're doing it, the way they're going about it, their work ethic.
Thank you.
Yeah, but their work ethic. If they say they're posting videos every Thursday, and the Thursday I post
exactly,
then that's what you follow.
You know, that leads me to think about something else now. There was this thing of if your boss says be at work at 2, you'll be there. If your boss says submit 5 things today, you'll submit 5. But when you tell yourself that I want to open a YouTube channel on Friday, you won't. Why do we feel the need to show up for other people so much, but we don't show up for ourselves? Is it a matter of we don't respect ourselves? We don't respect our dreams and goals?
We like being clapped for.
Okay.
We like being clapped for. Because let me tell you, if your boss says show up, you show up. The boss is happy. Someone else is proud of you. You know, if boss says submit, you submit, then you're happy. Someone else is happy. You're happy that someone else is happy. They clap for you. They award you employee of the month. You know, but when you're doing it for yourself, posting on this thing,
for you.
No one's clapping. And we need to get to a point where you're first proud of yourself.
Thank you.
The first person that you should be proud of is yourself. And the first person who should be proud of you is you.
Is you.
Yeah,
be your number one fan.
Because by the time other people start clapping, so I opened a podcast last year, mid-COVID, and the podcast is doing great. I had a niche, you know, so I had posting. Numbers were slow because I'm posting on my WhatsApp status, and I'm posting to a status if stays for full 24 hours, ends up with 150 views. Excluding Ababantu Haita, so the numbers don't show. So I'm thinking, wow, close to 200 and something people are seeing this. But why is it listenership on 12?
Exactly.
That's when again my podcast dipped because the motivation wasn't there.
Yeah.
But now this time around, and I say I'm coming back. I say I'm coming back to the King's Corner. I'm coming back to my podcast. You know, and this time around, I'm doing it for myself. This time around, I'm not only recording on the day that I'm going to release, because this is what I was telling you, which as a creative, we want to create for Abantu.
Yeah.
And I said on Instagram, that's where your creation dies, actually. Up until you revive it.
Yeah.
But the moment you send it to Instagram, it's uploading, Instagram, it's dead. You can't do anything about it. But when you're creating in that silence, when you're creating alone, and I'm spending the whole weekend, I'm just moving from interview to interview, from interview to interview in the podcast, and I just have material. Now I have recorded 8 episodes, have released 0, and I tell people that I'm releasing weekly. I am sorted for 2 months.
Exactly. You're good for 2 months.
2 months, I am good. No one can tell me anything now.
Exactly.
Because for 2 months, I'm just releasing. I'm just releasing. And this is the laziness that we have. We have great editing apps. I was telling she wants to do jingles. I'm like, why aren't you using your phone?
Yeah.
Your phone has a microphone. You have a microphone. Why aren't you using it? Use it. Edit on that phone. Yes, it's going to be
but it's what you have.
It's what you have.
Mm.
And the more you learn how to do this, and guys, why are we afraid of learning? Google.
We are afraid of learning so much.
So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, I'm going to be DJing at this wedding. And I'm like, oh, so you're going to be doing all the research on the music. Nah, I don't need research.
What?
I keep quiet.
Mm.
Guys, Google, it's there. YouTube has everything.
Telling you, YouTube
Like,
has everything.
everything.
You can learn anything you want to learn on YouTube.
I learned how to use Adobe Audio Audition on YouTube.
Exactly.
And you look up about DB, and all those weird things that don't make sense when you first look at them. But when you spend that hour learning from that educator,
Eventually they'll make sense.
it will make sense and you'll become better at what you are doing.
Exactly.
Guys, I urge you to learn.
We have
Go
to learn.
learn.
Look, I built a digital shopping mall without any experience in coding.
Wait. You built it. This guy just said I built a digital shopping mall. Like, what you think is like, just so simply. Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's see what all the questions are. From the states of Africa, we've got you covered.
what?
I did from scratch. You understand? Without learning how to code anywhere or going to school for it.
Yeah.
It's all in the internet. We just need to know what to use the internet for.
That's all. Okay.
That's it.
Hey man, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting on 6 more minutes until we get to the top of the hour or 2 o'clock. And like we always know, man, it's a no more night. Doesn't want us to be with you guys. But this past hour has been great.
It's been amazing.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. To everyone who's on Facebook, I know that this stays. I'm back on radio, so I'm back on radio, man. It's the Denzel Washington of radio. I've been A1 since day one. My name is Tumam Nasipozo, man, and this was the Young Purpose Show with Obuhle Sihu, aka Baby Sihu. And yeah, man, same time, same place next week. Continue to join us, and thank you so much, Asanda. It's learning from you in this moment. I'm like slapping myself on the wrist for not coming earlier. You know, that's a little man.
Yeah. No, but I think we had to meet like this.
Yeah.
This was the perfect setup for us.
And there's no other perfect time.
And I'm sure there's still more work to come.
Oh, there's still
You
more.
have a
Like,
podcast.
after this,
They're about to they're about to exchange numbers.
Like,
So
after
gay.
this,
Oh
we
my
talking.
god.
You got some serious.
So gay.
Like, but yeah, man, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I mean, Young Purpose always coming through with the insightful conversations. You do want to come back to this. Tell your friends to come back to this. Share the link because of Kobeleni. These are conversations that cannot die. It can't just be like, oh yeah, that one Saturday we had a nice conversation and that was it. No, guys, it can't be like that. But we're gonna leave you with a song, and I don't even know how to work the systems no more, man. I don't even know how to work the systems no more, man. But here, man, I'm going to take a little Dirk and give a city love. Let's see, laugh now, cry later. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. Bye-bye, guys. What's going on, man?